Today, we're going to be looking at the Constitution. Let's get into the United States Constitution, also known as the Federal Constitution, also known as the Constitution of the United States of America, also known as the U.S. Constitution. The Constitution was written in the 18th century. Okay, it was put together at the Constitutional Convention, 1787. It became adopted in 1789. The Constitution, believe it or not, is referred to as the supreme law of the land. There are 7 articles to the Constitution, including a preamble. Preamble is the introduction. Okay, they have 7 articles, and then you have 27 amendments. The first 10 of 27 amendments are called the Bill of Rights. But for right now, we're going to be looking at Articles 1, 2, and 3 of the Federal Constitution. Again, it was written by a man by the name of James Madison. He wrote the Constitution, bulk of it. Came into existence because when those people met in 1787 in Philadelphia, they were trying to revise something called the Articles of Confederation. That was a disaster. And as they revised the Articles of Confederation, guess what they did? They created the Constitution of the United States of America. The preamble to the Constitution begins with 3 words: we, the people. At the time that the Constitution was written, certain people were not considered people. Okay, if you were white, male, and had wealth or property, you were people. If you were anything other than that, you weren't considered people. But as years have gone on, people have taken on different meanings. Okay, and now everyone who is or resides in the United States is considered a person. So, we the people have a broader meaning now than it did when the Constitution was actually written. So the preamble to the Federal Constitution begins with 3 magic words: we the people. It goes on to say, we the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. Let's look at Article 1. So, what does Article 1 do? Well, simply put, Article 1 creates the Congress. What is the Congress? The Congress is the legislative branch. Legislative branch. That means it is the law-making branch of the United States government. Okay? First 3 articles create the 3 different branches of U.S. government. So Article 1 creates the Congress. Now, the United States Congress is a bicameral legislature. And what does that mean? Bicameral means, it's a nice fancy word, all it means is 2 chambers. Okay? And so what are the 2 parts? The 2 parts are the House of Representatives and the Senate. Now, a couple of things. Someone who is in the House is either referred to as a congressman, congresswoman, or a congressperson. Someone who is in the Senate is referred to as senator, whether male or female. Okay, it says in Article 1, Section 1, all legislative powers herein shall be vested in a Congress of the United States, which shall consist of a Senate and House of Representatives. Article 1, Section 2 creates the House of Representatives. Okay, and how long does someone serve in the House? 2 years. Okay, so the House of Representatives, just call it the House, shall be composed of members chosen every 2nd year by the people of the state. Okay, so you vote for the people serving in the House. Okay, so that's one major thing. The second thing is this: no person shall be a representative who shall not have attained the age of 25. So how old you need to be in the House? The minimum age requirement is 25. So you can't have a 21-year-old congressperson. It's not going to happen. Okay, and look at what it also says here. And been 7 years a citizen of the United States. So someone in the House serves for 2 years, is 25 years of age or older, minimum age requirement is 25, must be a citizen for 7 years. That's it. If you've done that, you can serve in the House. Anything you see in red are things that are no longer applicable. They're no longer applicable in the Constitution. Why? Because an amendment has changed them or made them irrelevant. On Article 1, Section 2, Clause number 5, that's this clause right here. It says, House of Representatives shall choose. That was the way they spelled choose back in the 18th century. Shall choose their speaker and other officers. And so the people in the House choose their speaker. Who's the speaker right now? Nancy Pelosi. She's a Democrat. Because why? There are more Democrats serving in the House at the moment than there are Republicans. So the Democrats voted for their speaker. They chose Ms. Pelosi. So she is the speaker in the House. So in Article 1, Section 3, this is article right here, this section right here, it says, it talks about the Senate. And it says, the Senate of the United States shall be composed of 2 senators from each state. Well, how many states are there? There are 50 states. So times 2 by 50, how many senators do you have? Whoa, 100. No person shall be a senator who shall not be in the age of 30 years. Okay, and you have to be a citizen for 9 years. How do I know that? It says so. Okay, and you got to live in the state where you get voted from. The Vice President of the United States shall be the President of the Senate. Is that if there is a tie in the Senate, meaning that 50 senators vote one way and 50 vote the other way, guess what? The Vice President can cast a tiebreaker. That's his only job in the Senate. The Senate shall choose, again, that spelling, their spelling, shall choose their other officers, and also a President pro tempore. Now, that's important. The President pro tempore of the Senate, okay, is in the line of succession. So he or she might end up being president if a president, the vice president, the speaker can't fulfill the role of president. President pro tempore now becomes president. The Senate shall have the sole power to try all impeachments. Okay, so the House can vote to impeach, just to let you know, but it is the Senate who tries the impeachment, like a trial. And if you're paying attention, that's what happened to President Trump. You know, he was impeached by the House and he was tried by the Senate, but you know, the senators essentially said that, no, let him go, he doesn't have to be impeached, and all that. So that was the end of that. Article 1, Section 8 talks about the powers of Congress. Let me try to readable here. Okay, so there are 18 powers that are listed in the Constitution that the Congress has. So Article 1, Section 8 tells what the Congress can do. What Congress can do. A couple of things, okay? If you look on Article 1, Section 8, Clause number 1, Congress can collect taxes. Section 8, Clause number 3. To regulate commerce. Now, put a big asterisk next to that. That is such an important power, you have no idea, okay, to regulate commerce. Okay, Congress can also establish naturalization law, it says right there, Section 8, Clause number 4. So Congress decides who can come into America, when they become a citizen, all that wonderful stuff. Congress can coin money, Section 8, Clause number 5. Congress can coin money. Congress can establish offices. Section 8, Clause number 7. Okay, hopefully you're seeing this as I'm showing it. Article 1, Section 8, Clause number 9. It says to constitute tribunals. A tribunal is a nice fancy way of saying a court. Okay, so court, C-O-U-R-T. To constitute, meaning to create courts that are inferior to the Supreme Court. So these courts that are inferior to the one Supreme Court are called Article 1 courts. Again, we're still in Article 1, Section 8. We're looking at clause number 11. To declare war. It's only the Congress can declare war, not the President. Now, the President can send the troops wherever he or she wants to, but the President cannot call it a war. Article 1, Section 8, clause number 18. It says, to make all laws which shall be necessary and proper. This is called the necessary and proper clause. It expands the power of the Congress.
Because you need constitutional authority to make any law, the necessary and proper clause actually is used most of the time when laws are passed because they are deemed as necessary and proper to make the government function.
Section 9 is what Congress cannot do. Okay, so Section 9 essentially is a limitation on the powers of Congress. And so I want to draw your attention to something that is in red that no longer applies. And it says the following: the migration or importation of such persons as any of the states now existing shall think proper to admit shall not be prohibited by the Congress prior to the year 1808. But a tax or duty may be imposed on such importation, not exceeding $10 for each person. Enslaved Africans. They're talking about people who they're bringing into the Americas, Africans who they're bringing into the Americas to make into slaves. Okay, here's something really interesting about the Constitution. It never mentions the word slavery until we get to the 13th Amendment that was added to the Constitution in 1865. The Founding Fathers were aware of the hypocrisy. They talk about being free while they're enslaving other people. Section 9, clause number 2, it says the writ of habeas corpus. Habeas corpus shall not be suspended. Okay? Habeas corpus essentially means that to bring a body of evidence. So if you get arrested by the cops and they don't want to tell you what the charge is against you and they're holding you in jail somewhere, your lawyer will go into federal court to apply for a writ. A writ is an order. Okay, these are some legal terms you just have to know. A writ is an order, so your lawyer will go into federal court for a writ of habeas corpus. Either tell my client or tell us why we are being held, or let us go. Okay, Section 9, Clause 3. No, bill of attainder. What's a bill of attainder? A bill of attainder is any law that punishes an individual or group of people without a hearing or trial. That's what a bill of attainder is. Okay, so no bill of attainder. Okay, you can't punish people just because they exist. So no bill of attainder. Or ex post facto law. So an ex post facto means after the fact. So essentially, if you did something today, Tuesday, okay, that's when I'm recording this, and there was no law against it. And on Wednesday, they made a law making what you did on Tuesday illegal. The cops can't show up to your house on Thursday and say, what you did on Tuesday, we're going to arrest you for. So again, Article 1, Section 9, Clause number 8, and this is the clause that I love. Okay, no title of nobility shall be granted by the United States. That means no king, no prince, no duke, no earl, no count, no princess, no duchess, none of those royal, I'm about to say nonsense titles because I don't like royalty, but none of those titles granted by America. Let's go to Section 10. We're still in Article 1, Section 10. It says, no state shall enter into any treaty or alliance or confederation When the Confederacy came into existence, those 11 states that formed the Confederate government, the Confederacy of the United States, the southern states, they broke the law. They were against the Constitution. Their actions were illegal, okay, according to the Constitution that they themselves were a part of. Article 2 created the Presidency of the United States. The Presidency is the executive branch. Okay, so what does the President do? The President, the executive branch, enforces the laws. So while the Congress makes the laws, the executive branch enforces the law. Let's want to read this. The executive power shall be vested in the President of the United States of America. So the President is the chief executive of the United States. He shall hold his office during the term of 4 years. So how long does the president stay president? 4 years. Okay? And there was an amendment that was added to the Constitution in 1951 that says that nobody can be president more than 2 terms. So 2 4-year terms, so a maximum of 8 years. No person except a natural born citizen. It did not say just an American citizen. So if you are born of American parents, somebody who's an American citizen, okay, or if you're born American president, no matter where you are born on the planet, you are a natural born citizen. Okay, so no person except a natural born citizen, I'm not going to read the rest because it no longer applies, shall be eligible to the office of president. Neither shall any person be eligible to that office who shall not have attained the age of 35 years. Okay? And in 14 years, a resident of the United States. So you must be living in America for at least 14 years. Not all at the same time. If you're broken up, then must add up to 14 years. Number 8, clause number 8, Article 2, Section 1, clause number 8. Before he enter on the execution of his office, he shall take the following oath or affirmation. I do solemnly swear or affirm, I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. Presidents get sworn in by January 20th of the year after they get elected. So they may get elected in November, they get sworn in January, and they have to take this oath by noon, okay, by 12 noon, okay? And so that's when the previous president's term ends and the new president's term begins. Okay, let's go to Article 2, Section 2. I want to read this to you. The president is commander-in-chief of the Army and the Navy, not commander-in-chief. The president can grant pardons, but the president can only grant pardons for offenses against the United States. Okay, so if you commit a federal crime, the president can pardon you. If you commit a state crime, the president cannot pardon you. Okay, so that's it. Article 2, Section 2, Clause number 2. He shall have power by and with the advice and consent of the Senate. So the president needs the Senate's approval to make treaties, okay, to appoint ambassadors, okay, to appoint other people to any political office in federal government, to appoint judges to the Supreme Court, to appoint judges to any other part of the federal government. We get Section 3, and it says here, he shall from time to time give to the Congress information of the State of the Union. That's the State of the Union address. Number 4, Section 4. Okay, the President, Vice President, and all civil officers of the United States shall be removed from office on impeachment for and conviction of. So the House votes to impeach, and the Senate tries the impeachment like a regular trial, and the President is convicted. He can't be removed. Okay, impeachment for and conviction of treason, bribery, or other high crimes and misdemeanors. Article 3 created the one Supreme Court. Okay, the judicial power. What's judicial? Well, that's where the courts interpret what a law is. Okay, so the judicial power, the power to interpret, okay, judicial power of the United States shall be vested in one Supreme Court and in such inferior courts as the Congress may from time to time ordain and establish. Remember I told you about those Article 1 courts? Well, that's what it's referring to here as well. Those inferior courts as the Congress may create, those inferior courts are the Article 1 courts.
So just to be clear, in terms of the Supreme Court and all the courts, actually, there is no real rule in terms of how many justices can be on it. There is no rule in terms of term limits, like maybe a justice could only serve a certain amount of time. Those are all decided by laws that could be changed without changing the actual Constitution. Within the Constitution, the only thing that it says is that there is one Supreme Court, and that's Article 3 of the Constitution.